Hello friends, I am Dr. Ajinder Walia from National Institute of Disaster Management. Today, I am going to speak on the topic Psychosocial Care and Support in Disasters. The term psychosocial refers to the relationship between the psychological and social dimensions of a person, where one influences the other. The psychological dimensions includes the emotional and thought processes, feelings and reactions. The social dimension, on the other hand, includes relationships, family and community networks, social value, and cultural practices. Psychosocial support and care thus refers to the actions that address both the psychological and social needs of the individuals. This support, when provided to the disaster survivors, helps in the recovery from the disaster and also supports their mental well being. The community members can be trained to provide psychosocial care to the affected survivors through a set of 7 psychosocial care techniques. The first technique in providing psychosocial support is ventilation, which means allowing the person to express himself or herself. For this, we need to build rapport with the survivor and make them very comfortable. We can also encourage the survivor to express himself or herself in either groups or individually. Just like a pressure cooker cooks food by releasing the extra pressure through the whistle, similarly, we should act as a whistle through which the survivor can release extra pressure. As a caregiver, we should listen to the survivor's expression and act as a whistle to take that extra pressure away. However, please remember that we should not force the person to speak. We should also maintain confidentiality and trust of the survivor. The second technique of providing psychosocial care is empathy, which means putting yourself in the other person's shoes. We should remember that there is a difference between the word sympathy, which is more personal in nature, and being empathetic, which is more fair and objective. Our empathy should not be based on addressing the symptom of the survivor, but we need to address the root cause of the symptom. For example, certain losses during disasters are irreversible, like loss of life. But if some person has a medical need, we can connect that person with the organization which addresses the medical needs. Similarly, if a person cannot locate a member of the family, one can connect the person with the organizations and services looking after missing persons. In this way, we will be able to provide support to the survivor, which we ourselves would have wanted had we been in their place. The third technique of providing psychosocial care is active listening. Good listening is an important skill to provide emotional support to the survivor. The community which has experienced the disaster will have lack of privacy while talking to other people. There may be noise and distractions around. It is very important that as a caregiver, we should practice the SOLAR acronym to promote active listening while working with the survivors. In this acronym SOLAR, S stands for sitting squarely with the disaster survivor. O stands for having an open mind while listening to the survivor. L is for leaning slightly forward towards the survivor. E is for maintaining eye-to-eye contact with the survivor. And R is for having a relaxed mind while talking to the survivor. We can keep certain points in mind while listening to the survivor, like create a comfortable environment for listening. Use both close-ended as well as open-ended questions while talking and listening. Nodding slightly while the survivor is speaking. Allow the survivor to cry and ventilate. If the survivor does not want to talk, please don't force them to talk. And don't attend to your mobile phones, look at watches while you're listening to the survivor. Speak only when there is a need to talk. Otherwise, listen to the survivor. Also remember, ventilation, empathy, and active listening are interrelated. They are psychological part of psychosocial care techniques, and they're mostly used in the rescue and relief phases. At social level, we have the remaining 4 techniques, which are externalization of interest, social support, relaxation, and spirituality. These are mostly used during the reconstruction and recovery phases of a disaster. Coming back, the fourth social technique is externalization of interest. This principle emphasizes on engaging the survivors in some kind of activities that interest them in order to give them a sense of being productive. This also helps in their recovery process. When people are engaged in activities, their minds are occupied meaningfully. Similarly, any sort of physical activity energizes people and makes them feel much better. The fifth social technique is providing social support to the survivor. Everyone feels very comfortable with a certain level of emotional support that comes from others around. Social support networks are extremely important for feeling comfortable and secure. In any disaster situation, these support systems get disrupted. Hence, we should provide social support at an individual level by linking the survivor to basic facilities like food, clothing, shelter, medicines, etc., and at the same time allowing the survivor to ventilate. We should also try and connect the survivor with livelihood initiatives which are being carried out by different organizations. Supporting the survivor by linking them with livelihood initiatives will help them immensely. At a family level, we should make the survivors understand the importance of being together as a family, both physically as well as mentally, by eating together, visiting places together, going out together to visit relatives, etc. The sixth psychosocial technique is engaging the survivors in recreation activities. Getting back to a routine is a great way to divert one's mind and deal with the stress of emotional reactions. Relaxation and recreation are very important components that can facilitate the recovery process. The more the survivors engage in recreational activities, the faster will be the normalization process. For example, survivors can be engaged in several recreational activities like playing board games, singing, listening to music, etc. We can also organize screening of movies for them, sports activities, cultural activities in the form of drama, theatre shows, and puppet shows for them. Engaging the survivors in relaxation, breathing exercises also helps in the healing process. We can also encourage the survivors to undertake these exercises at least twice a day regularly. This would help them to gain control over the anxiety. The last and seventh psychosocial technique is spirituality. Our religious beliefs or beliefs in a higher power is an integral part of a social system, and this gives us strength and support during challenging times. We may question this power at times and ask why we are suffering and why we have to go through this pain. But at the same time, we will again learn to rely on the same power to get through any challenging times we are facing. So, it is important to reinforce this spirituality in anyone we are working with, as it has tremendous power to heal pain and suffering. Thus, it is essential to encourage the survivors to practice their spiritual beliefs and rituals. Practicing spiritual beliefs will help them in the recovery process. All the above-mentioned techniques are useful in the process of recovery of survivors and would eventually help them to gradually rebuild their lives. Rebuilding one's life after a disaster is a lifelong process, the gradual initiation of which starts right after a disaster. Timely intervention can facilitate the survivors in reaching this goal. Thank you so much.